guys. Yeah, so my name is Jonathan Kramer. I'm the product manager for Clean Comfort. Today, we're just going to be doing an overview of the Clean Comfort zoning launch and everything that it has to do with the zoning equipment. So I just want to show this slide. This slide actually is like a staple slide. So if you see a presentation out there that has this slide, then you know it's like the latest and up-to-date one that we have. Obviously, there's a copyright there, but another way to look is we have icons for each one of our product families. And so if you see the zoning icon, that means this is the latest one. So we're going to actually have two forms of launches. The first launch, both launches are just different categories. So we have a premium branded product, which is going to be anything that is an ESP on the label. And this is a bypassless product, and we're going to dive more in detail than that. But so we have a premium brand, and then we have an economy version that is just going to not have the ESP listed on it because it doesn't have that. And we're going to dive into that deeply, but we're going to be talking about the two different products that we now have that are live. So for today, you're able to place orders now, and literature is also available. So if you want to get consumer brochures, just go to your literature form and you can actually order the zoning straight from there. As far as specification sheets and any PDF downloads, if you go to our Clean Comfort website, www.cleancomfort.com, it has all of our brochures and our spec sheets able to download instantly. So if you know of a dealer that is interested in something, you could easily drop down and grab that and send it to them, or if you're talking to them at the branch level, even that would work. For Partner Link is where we actually put the installation manuals, but this has everything in there. So if you find a model that you like, go to Partner Link and you can pull the installation manual, the specification manual, and the consumer brochure directly from from Partner Link. So just a little overview of the consumer brochure. I just kind of want to show the back page. This is going to be the staple. We're in the process of redoing all of our product brochures, but the back page is always going to be there. And that is so that if your contractor or if they're at a homeowner, they see the back, it shows everything that we offer, not just the certain product that we're showing right now. So obviously this is a zoning catalog, but on the back, we should do a quick little adverb of each one of the product families in the back. So this one, all of our brochures are all geared towards homeowners. It's geared towards homeowners, and it allows the dealers to learn ways to sell it to the homeowners. So if they just do a quick read over this, a lot of times that is all it needs and all you need to do to make a sale with the homeowner. So what we do is we ask them three basic questions. You know, are there areas in your house that are too hot and too cold? Is there temperature unevens in your house? We even show them like a little picture on the bottom. So you have your typical house where there's no zoning and you have that temperature fluctuation that's so common in houses. And then we have one that with zoning where everything's a cool 72 degrees. On the right-hand side, we broadcast both of our panel versions. We have the premium one on the left with the 10-year, and then we show the economy version on the right with the 5-year. And then we show both dampers, 3-wire and 2-wire. So again, this is not supposed to be scientific. This is just to be hey, this is what we have. This is how it can help your home, because again, it's for the homeowner. Another ways we can sell it is we can start imagining zoning like a lamp in your house. So if you had one lamp located somewhere in your house, could it light up your whole home? And the answer is no, obviously. But it's funny to think about that everything else in our house is zoned. We have plumbing that is zoned, we have electrical that is zoned, and then we have cars now that have passenger and driver temperature. So that's zoned. But the place that we spend, especially right now, 95% of our time is not zoned. It's kind of crazy to think about. To the right, we have a typical house setup where you just have the thermostat maybe centrally located in the home, whether that's near the master bedroom or not. Maybe it's just in the living room area, but then you have a basement that's going to get those colder temperatures, and then you're going to have the upstairs where, you know, heat rises. Obviously, there's a lot that goes into play with temperature swings. It's not just the levels. It could be if you have windows where the house is facing, and so forth. Another way we can do it is if we stress comfort and a little bit of energy saving. So we definitely more comfortable if the whole house was the same temperature. I think that's true when you're going up and down versus if you had to go to the basement and it's 68 degrees and you go upstairs and it's 76. That temperature swing is not very comfortable. When it comes to stressing money, we could do that, but the reality is it all depends on how the homeowner chooses to use the equipment. So if, for example, we live in Houston, so if we have it to be set at 68 degrees for all 3 zones in that same house that I just showed on the last slide, you may not be seeing any energy savings because you're still wanting it to be really, really cold. Far as, I'm going to go ahead and mute everybody here. Okay, there we go. All right, so basically, if you're running your system a lot, no matter if you're running it, how you're running it, the areas that zoning really can save you money is if you're heating or cooling different parts of your house at different temperatures. So maybe the upstairs, you could easily have it a nice 75 degrees. In Houston, when your kids are out, when they go to school, whether they're in school or not, when they're out of the house for 8 hours at a time, you don't need to be running that at 68 degrees. Or you can keep that pretty chill at 75. Whereas the downstairs, maybe you have a loved one that's working from home right now, they could have that at 70 degrees, but it's only conditioning the areas that they're going to be occupying. So that's ways we can obviously save the money. With contractors, this is going to add more to your bottom line. IAQ is booming right now. You don't have to be a scientist to be selling it. Homeowners and even news articles are selling it for them, right? It just adds that way into the home. So if a contractor gets asked about zoning, they can easily pitch our other IAQ items, and that's just more money to the bottom line. As far as what thermostat we require with this, we don't require anything special. We're not like our competition where they require you to use their set thermostat and their set protocols. You can actually use any 24-volt signal thermostat. The only thing that we ask is that if you have since you have multiple zones, you need a thermostat for each one of those zones. Just keep it the same as all of them. So if it's one Nest already there, just put 2 more Nests out. If it's one Brayburn, ProStat, whatever, just keep it the same for all 3. Don't mix and match the thermostats. But you do not have to have a certain one. You could use the Ecobee, Honeywell. It doesn't matter for our zoning equipment. So just a quick reminder. I'm not sure if you guys sell Comfort Bridge, but I get this question quite a lot. ComfortNet used to be the way our communicating product worked. They talked a certain way, and it required you to have a CTK04 on your wall in order to run the system. That is because the CTK04 controlled the algorithms and it controlled the staging of the equipment. The equipment just did exactly what the CTK04 did. We're phasing this out, so as you get to our newer products, you're going to have to be, so the Comfort Bridge products, which will be fully launched in January 2021, is going to be using the Clean Comfort Zoning Kit with that. And that is because Comfort Bridge allows any 24-volt single-stage thermostat to work with its equipment, because the thermostat does not control any staging for the equipment. It only tells the equipment what to turn on heating, turn on cooling. The equipment controls the staging of the indoor board, whether that's an air handler or furnace. That's where all the logic is. It is not in the wall anymore. It's off the wall in the actual unit. So that is one of the huge advantages of using Comfort Bridge, and with Clean Comfort, we pair perfectly with that because we are also acting like a 24-volt single-stage thermostat. Okay, so enough of that. Let's talk about the serious issues with static pressure when you're doing zoning. Obviously, if you're closing dampers, you're going to have excess, need air to go somewhere, right? So with that static pressure buildup, you're going to be getting, you need ways to fix it, right? So the traditional way is a barometric or electronic bypass. And it's kind of like a hose situation. And, you turn on the hose is just evenly, everything's flowing, nothing's blocked, everything's cool. But then you see a loved one walking by and you think it's a great idea to spray them with water. And we all put our finger over the hose and it shoots out twice as far as it was when nothing was blocked. Same thing goes with HVAC. So let's just talk about that. So right now we have a 3-zone system where all the zones are requesting it to be at 72 degrees. Just like that hose, everything's cool. We have no problem at all. So for the next 3 slides, imagine if we never set up a bypass. Only thing we did was we put in the zoning equipment, and that was it. So now let's talk about zone 1. Zone 1 says, hey, I want it to be 74 degrees, and 2 and 3 are like, I like it a little colder. It's gonna be at 72. As you can see, the arrows are getting faster. Zones 2 and 3 are probably experiencing a little bit more noise than what they're used to before they put the zoning equipment in, and maybe a little bit more airflow. Now, if we look at it, as only zone 2 that's requiring it to be 72 degrees, and zone 1 and zone 3 are perfectly fine at 74. We're blocking the airflow into that because we do not have a bypass or a way to get rid of that excess static pressure. So now those arrows are going insane. They're going really, really fast. Zone 2, if they had papers on their desk, it's probably all over the floor. They're probably experiencing a lot of loud noises. And it's just overall very, very discomfort from what they were used to before they even put the zoning equipment in. So obviously with static pressure buildup, you're going to get the coils to freeze up. You're going to be tripping the limits, which means you're going to have the contractor constantly going out to the homeowner. The homeowner's like, hey, you told me this was going to be a cost savings, but now you're coming out all the time. This is not really saving me money. This is actually a super headache. What is going on? It's super noisy in the vents, and the ductwork's going to be damaged, and you're going to get a lot of high back pressure against the fan. So those are just overall what could go wrong. And a way we can do that is if we were to install a bypassless clean comfort zoning kit, so that's any models with the ESP, we don't even have to worry about putting in a bypass because we don't need it. With these, you're going to get either a 2, 3, or 6 zone, depending on the panel you get, and everything is going to be included in that kit. So you're going to get the panel, you're going to get a static pressure sensor, which is the ESP, you're going to get a secondary transformer, and you're going to get a temperature sensor. With our premium products, you're going to be getting a 5-year panel warranty, which is phenomenal, killing what our average is for our competition. And then with the dampers, these are going to be 3-wire dampers, and they're going to carry a 5-year damper warranty. These are going to be fully modulating dampers, and we're going to talk about that as the slides go on, but that's just a little teaser slide. So with the static pressure sensor, obviously you're going to install it into the supply. In this situation, we're going to have, a 2-zone system, but right here is where I kind of want to focus on. As you can see, this is kind of like a dial, because it is. There is a screw right here where you just unscrew. These are going to come set defaulted at 0.3 watts per column. Now, if that does not work for your area, you think, hey, that's going to trip constantly, that's fine. Take that screw out, turn it to whatever you want. If you want it to be 0.5, turn it to 0.5, put the cover back on, put that screw on, and you're done. That's all it is to set the limit. It's just easily turn it and screw it back on. So let's walk through that same scenario that we were just looking at where we didn't have a bypass, but we obviously needed it. So now what we did was, instead of installing a bypass, we installed one of our ESP panels, which is our premium products, inside. So what we're going to do is we set that limit. Let's say we set that limit at 0.3 because that's the default, right? What that static pressure sensor is doing is constantly reading, reporting it back to the panel, all artificially. This is not something that you touch or see at all. Let's say that static pressure sensor now hits 0.5. What it's going to do is it's going to open up these non-calling zones ever so slightly to allow airflow through. And we're able to do that because they're fully modulating. That's why you see these little arrows coming through. It's not the big arrow because we don't need that much air. We're only relieving what we need to relieve. We're not over relieving anything. So for example, maybe this is only at 5% open. Doesn't matter. Another thing to keep in mind is that it's constantly monitoring this static pressure. So if it goes below 0.3, let's say now it's reading 0.2, there is absolutely no need for zones 1 and zones 3 to be open, right? So they can just close it and we could be only doing zone 2. Again, these arrows are so small, so zone 1 and zone 3 aren't going to feel any airflow, and they're not going to feel any temperature swings because all we're doing is just relieving the static pressure buildup. Okay, so that's how it works. Now that was the easy part. So now we're just going to kind of do some high overviews of these kits. Again, if anything sticks out to you, check out our website, pull up the specification for a more deeper dive. But I just want to get through that way we have plenty of time for questions. So with the ESP ones, obviously you can see here, they have the ESP, you're going to get the electronic static pressure sensor. And I'm going to go ahead and group these. What these model numbers mean is this is a two-zone system, and it's for heating and cooling. Over here is a 3-zone system, and it's for heating, cooling, and multi-stage. And then we have a 3-zone system for heat pump as well. So the 2 and 3s are very similar. They're going to be doing a lot of the same features. So that's why I group them up together. And one of the cool things about us is our ventilation mode. So I'm going to actually jump back and talk about our ventilation mode because this is actually a huge feature that our competition does not offer. For both our premium and our economy versions, we offer up ventilation by zone. So that means if zone 1 and zone 3 only want to have the fan on and ventilate through, it will do that. If zone 2 says, hey, you know, I only want ventilation, I don't want any airflow coming through my vents unless it's for heating and cooling, what we're going to do is that one will just be set to off, the fan, so that it's only going to run when there's heating and cooling. The other two can get ventilation and run fan mode. It does not have to be an all or nothing type deal. Okay, so also with these, you're going to get the first call, priority wins. Timeshare, the LED status indicators will show you which zones are calling on the side. So when you're easily upstairs, you can troubleshoot it pretty quickly. It does have short cycle protection and adjustable high and low limit switches. Our CC6 can be scaled actually up to 12 zones. So you can actually do 2 CC6s together to be 12 zones. These are a universal kit. That's why we just put ESP. So these can be worked with heating and cooling, multi-stage, dual fuel, and heat pump. These actually come with a second second temperature sensor as well, and it comes with an optional night stat. So this would be perfect if you have new construction builds or even like commercial aspects. So they can have 12 zones. So if it was a strip mall, you could easily, this would be a great thing because it also has that optional night stat. So if the tenants accidentally leave the store at roughly 68 degrees, you don't need that running from the hours of 1 a.m. to 4 a.m. You can have that optional night stat override all the other zones to maybe be 74. So that's what the optional night stat does. And again, this is kind of the universal one. So with our 3-wire dampers, you're going to be getting, again, they are fully modulating. These are power open, power closed. These will be designated with CC3W to reference the 3 wires, and we're going to have round and rectangulars. And again, these are going to take around 60 seconds to fully open, fully close, but they are fully modulating, so they can just open slowly. So talking about our economy version, these are going to be our direct competition with EWC, Honeywell, and Apriaire. So we're going to switch gears and talk about economy here now. They're going to get the same panel sizes, so you're going to get 2, a 3, and a 6 zone panel options. But the only difference is these just don't come with the electronic static pressure sensor. So you don't have that ESP in the model number, and you can see they don't come with the kit, but you still get your secondary transformer and a temperature sensor. For these, you're going to have a 5-year panel warranty. That's one of the ways we're trying to differentiate between the two, so that we can show that we have a premium and an economy version. We opted to match what the industry standard at 5-year was for this one, and then we're giving you a 10-year plus the ESP on the ESP panels as well. Again, they're going to be the same damper warranty. So all dampers are going to carry a 5 years. They all BLEMOs, and these are going to be power close, spring open. So I just want to show this slide because there will be a need for you to regulate the static pressure with these because you don't have the ESP. So you're going to either have to use electronic or barometric a way to regulate that static pressure sensor. So again, CC2s, these are great for new construction, especially if you just have a quick build. They're great, single stage, obviously, because it's just a HC for heat and cooling. You're going to get a lot of the same features as the ESP, just without the static pressure sensor. So these are great products. You're going to have the 3-minute short cycle protection, majority wins, and we do have the discharge temperature sensor as well. So for the CC3s, these are, again, this is the heat cool multi-stage, and we have a heat pump version. You're going to get 2 of these. They're the same features as the CC2. The only thing that's really different is this one obviously can handle multi-stage and dual fuel for the HCMS, and then you have a high and low balance points using an outdoor stat, which we sell as well. So those are some of the 2 different features for that one. The CC6, just like the other one, this is the Mac Daddy. It's heat cool multi-stage and heat pump, and they can be expanded up to 12 as well. It's really cooling priority or majority wins, and it has an adjustable stage timer. So these are great CC6s. I mean, this is a good product, and it's perfect if you want to go after those light commercial areas. Obviously, with these, you could either use a 2-wire or 3-wire, and recommend using the 2-wire with the economy version because there's no ESP on these, so there's no real need to be fully modulating. So these are 24 volts, spring return, and it can be power close, spring open, power open, spring close. Limited position, it has a position indicator right here. So you can kind of see that on this one. You kind of see it right here on the round as well. 5-year damper warranty on these as well, and you're going to have the same sizes in round and rectangular as you did with the 3 wires. So a little bit of an overview, just kind of here's how we match up and how we differentiate between us and our competition. Because again, the economy version is going directly after Honeywell, EWC, AprilAire, and Zone First. So one thing that's cool, we told you, is it's by zone for the ventilation mode. This is huge, especially with the way IAQ is going right now. Ventilation is getting a lot of talk. And if you can advertise that we now do ventilation by mode for our zoning equipment, that allows you to cycle the air every 15 minutes. I know if you're using a Nest, they have that. Just because I have one doesn't mean that there's the other thermostats don't do that as well. But you can run it every 15 minutes, every hour to do some bringing that circulate the air. Our housing's aluminum. I don't know if you kind of got that, but we're right from these pictures. But this is a clean aluminum. It has a nice little Clean Comfort logo on it, but it's black mounted. It looks very nice and has a clean look, where our competition just does plastic. We do timeshare, and we can't, like I said, we can use 2 or 3 wire dampers, but recommending the 2 for these just because there's no need for the 3. But if it's already there and you're just doing a retrofit, you could easily do these for the economy versions as well. And then a lot of the same features again on the 3-zone panels, but the 6-zone, you know, we have one. It's here. It's just great for light commercial aspects. It puts you in the door. I'm not sure if you guys handle a lot of light commercial, but if it ever came up, it's good to know that you have the option if that did. So as far as all of our product support, 833-40-CLEAN is the Clean Comfort hotline, whether that's humidification, dehumidification, purification, doesn't matter. That is our hotline. Today, if you were to call 833-40-CLEAN and you selected option 5, it's for our zoning controls, and that's live, and it's going to put you directly with our technical support team that's US-based. And they've had a tremendous amount of exposure, and you know, they're very good with that. So give them a call, especially if the contractors have issues. Let them give them a call, and they'll walk them through it. Should be able to help them quickly. As far as training and support, we're really working towards a lot of the virtual stuff. You know, we can't technically, you're supposed to be leaving, so we're going to be working on some different live trainings and how we can help you guys out in the field with that as well. Obviously, this video is being recorded, so we'll be able to send this out directly. So if you ever want to look back at these slides, you know, it's right there. So I just want to show the back again. This is a 3x2 of the consumer brochure, but it kind of gives you an overview of each one of our product families. We're working hard to update a lot of different stuff when it comes to our lineup, and we're trying to really make a name for ourselves, especially this year where things are flying off the rails faster than we can even get them in the inside of the DCTP, which is great. It's a good thing to have, but it is scaling extremely high from what we thought it would be before COVID, and before we even knew COVID even existed, right? But